Hello and welcome. Once again, I'm Josh, and this is my vlog series on the various horror films I've been watching for the month of October of 2023. And on October 6th, I watched the Ozsploitation and Jaws Knockoff, Razorback. And I really liked it. I thought it was really great. Basically, the plot is that this American woman goes to Australia. She works for a Greenpeace type organization, PETA type organization. She's a journalist. And she's going there to document the illegal poaching of kangaroos. And apparently, I guess at the time, people would go out at night and they would hunt kangaroos, and then they would sell the bodies to meat packing plants that would then render and process them and then put them in dog food and cat food and who the hell knows what else, if they were a bit unscrupulous perhaps, and then sell them all over the world. And this was all very illegal. I don't know if this was actually happening, but this is certainly the situation at the start of the movie. And she goes to document this, and she pisses off all of the locals in this small Australian town. And so much so that they essentially attack her in the night with the idea of scaring her off. Well, it's a little bit more than that. She's, of course, an attractive young woman, and of course, our main human villains are, of course, the operators of the canning facility, so they take things a little bit too far. But before they can finish their evil task, a giant carnivorous razorback attacks them and drives them off. And just when you think our heroine is safe, she is attacked and killed by the razorback. And then the rest of the movie is her husband is trying to figure out what happened to his wife. Nobody really knows anything. The official story is that she wandered off into the outback and got lost down a mine shaft. And it turns out, of course, this giant razorback boar. And I think I will leave it there as far as the plot. I'm trying not to spoil too much of the movie. This, everything I've said is like the first act and then like halfway through the second act. So there's no major spoilers really for the movie. It's nothing you wouldn't have learned if you hadn't watched like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie. Yeah, no, I mean, this film is great. Ironically, I had tried to watch this a couple years ago, and I found a movie called Boar, B-O-A-R, that was a very similar premise, and I thought that was it. But apparently, I don't know if it's technically a remake, but it's the exact same premise, giant boar killing people, but it was made in like the 2000s and starred Michael Gross, actor known for playing Burt Gummer in the Tremors movies. That movie was also, pretty good, decent B-movie. But back to this one. I really don't have much to say about it because it's a good movie. If you like Jaws knockoffs, and I don't mean that as a disparaging thing. That is by all means, it's just, Jaws was successful in 1976, and all of a sudden there was a glut of killer animal movies, most of which involved, animals of an unusual size, because of course Jaws was an unusually large shark, so then of course you had, alligator, which was a giant alligator, you had grizzly, which was, I don't think it was a giant grizzly, but it was big enough, they're like 12 feet tall. And you had other types of things. So either you stayed in the water, like you did with piranha, Or, of course, you got a normal terrestrial animal and you just made it like the size of a car, which is, what the size of the boar is in the Razorback movie. Most of them are bad, obviously. As you can imagine, a lot of times these films made to cash in on a trend or a more successful film, they're cheaply made, trying to just knock them out as quickly as possible to cash in on that trend before it all dries up. This is not one of those. The acting is good, the script is good. It's what I would consider, now this is not an original thing to me, but what I would call a perfect 4-star, 3-star movie. I'm of course getting that from a podcast I used to listen to. I forget what it was called. But anyway, it was run by critics Whitney Seibold and William Bibbiani, and this was something that Bibbs would say, when he's talking about a B movie, a 3-star movie that was so good it was a 4-star equivalency of its genre. It was just, everything about it was superb, everything was firing on all cylinders, but it was just a really good B movie. It was never going to be an A picture, but it's like the best example of a B movie you could possibly hope to be. That's what this is. Definitely 100% recommend this movie to anyone who ever wants to see it. And one thing I do want to point out though about this particular one, this particular copy, this is the first time I bought anything that came out under the Warner Archives label. I know that for a number of years now they've been making essentially like disc burn-on-demand movies, so this is a professionally made DVR. And I am concerned a bit, as a proponent of physical media, about how long this particular disc will last. I know that, like with your regular produced DVD-Rs, they don't tend to have a very long shelf life, the type that you would burn at home for home movies and things like that. So I am concerned that in like 5 to 10 years or so, I may have to get another copy of this. By then, hopefully there'll be a Blu-ray or something better. Only because I don't want to, you don't want to spend the money, even if it's $10, on a movie that will only last a couple of years before disc rot sets in and kills it. So if that's something you're concerned about, maybe try to find it streaming somewhere. Otherwise, like I said, I would definitely recommend this movie to anyone who wants to see it.